Hello, good evening, and welcome to Varsity Maine Live. I'm Travis Lazarzik from the Portland Press Herald. Tonight, I'm joined by Steve Craig, also from the Portland Press Herald, and the number one professional wrestler in Maine sports media, Dave Dyer of the Kennebec Journal and Morning Sentinel. Guys, thanks for being here. Our guest tonight is a senior at Scarborough High School. He's the defending Class A champion in the 110 hurdles and 300 hurdles in outdoor track. This winter, he has the best time so far in the state in the 55 hurdles indoors at 7.71 seconds. And recently, he was the defensive MVP in the All-American Classic and All-Star football game for high school players that was in Orlando, Florida. Jayden Flaker, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah. I've always been kind of fascinated by hurdlers because my 5'9" little legs can't really do it. So tell me, what makes a good hurdler? Is it the form? Is it the speed? What's the combination that makes you a good hurdler?
For me, it's my height that also helps, but being flexible, and I've been hurdling since 5th grade, so that also helps. It's a lot of time and technique to get it like all the little things down because the littlest thing can make such a big difference. Because like having your arm twist too far backwards would make your shoulders go, and then you're off balance. And that cut down like a lot of time.
Hey, Jayden, kind of along that same line, do you purposely try and hit the hurdle, or are you trying to clear it cleanly?
You want to clean it clearly, but if you can like kind of like nick it with your butt, so you know you're like as low as you can be, that's also really good.
I wanted to get into this. You and I had a chance a week or so ago to talk about this All-America Classic football game. A good opportunity, and you performed really well down there. But why did you think it was important for you to, go to this game?
Just to like show to myself and others that like I can play like outside of Maine because Maine competition from all the other coaches' standpoints like not the best like compared to like Texas and California and every other state. So I want to like show to myself and others that like I can compete with the other kids from down south and just all around.
Jayden, to go along with that, you talk about showcasing yourself. It's a different time these days as far as high school athletes getting their name out there for colleges. It's definitely a long ways away from from my days where you go to a football camp and you send a VHS tape like in the early 2000s to coaches. Now there's use of, I noticed you have a huddle, a site, social media. How important has that kind of been using social media to your advantage, getting film out there of yourself to coaches who may not have had access like that some years ago?
I recently just got on Twitter. So Twitter's a big like handle for like recruiting. So like coaches will like be on Twitter looking for like recruits, looking for your size. And I recently started like feeding more into my Twitter feed to like get more. And then like as I did that, like more coaches started to like to DM me, follow me. So that's been helping so much lately. I wish I started that earlier.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of dovetailing off that thing. I get the feeling that especially in Maine, and maybe even more so for football, you have to really take control of your own recruitment process, I think. Do you agree with that? And why?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been taking control of most of it, but I've had a lot of help from my coaches, Coach White and Coach Easton. They've been helping me because they play Division 1 football, so they know the game, know how it's done. So it's been helping out a lot. Just having their like guidance to like tell me what decisions to like make and what I should say, just influencing me.
Jayden, we were talking before the show starts. You haven't made any decisions regarding your college choice yet, and you're looking to maybe wait until signing day next week, February 2nd. But what are some of the things you're looking for in a school? And other than football, do you think track and field will be a part of your decision?
Can you say that again? Can you say the last part again? I think you cut in
Sure.
that.
Okay. What are some of the things that you're looking for? I know a lot of schools have been coming to you. What are you looking for in a school? And will track and field also factor in your choice?
Uh, for what I'm looking for in a school, I'm looking for like a nice program, some nice coaches that want to push you to get you better and better, better like every single day, like a nice environment around you, nice student body life, a pretty big campus, but like nothing like too big in a school. Track and field, I would run track in college, but it's not my main focus right now. I just want to play football in college. That's like my main focus.
Great. Thank you.
Um, you come from a family of athletes. Your mother was a standout, ran track at Maine, a det, and obviously your older brother. I think most people in Maine are probably familiar with Jarrett because of his track success. And I'm wondering, because Jarrett was a recruited athlete and went through that process, do you feel like that gives you maybe a little extra insight or advantage when it comes to this whole process?
Yeah, I kind of got with him talking about official visits and all the other stuff that goes along with recruiting. One thing I didn't listen to when he was like talking about how important Twitter was and take that seriously because I didn't understand the app, so I didn't take it seriously, which I probably should have looking back at it. And he's just like told me so much of like how you should trust your gut, go what you think is right, and everything will work out at the end.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
good. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, no, that's to kind of piggyback of what Steve was asking about. You come from a family of athletes. Your mother, your brother, obviously, is running in college right now. Your sister
Oh,
happened to be, yeah, yep, Emerson happened to be won the USA Track and Field National Junior Olympic Championship in pentathlon this past summer, and then swept the 100, 200, and 400-meter dashes in the 13-14 age group. The Maine championships at my old high school in Massapequa in August. What is the competition like between you guys siblings, and who would you say are there debates on who the best athlete in the family is?
oh, it's always so fun competing against each other, but I think Emerson will end up being the best because she can just look off of me and Jarrett and what we did good and like our mistakes and stuff like that, and she can just like fix on that. But Jarrett's definitely the fastest. I'm definitely the strongest and the biggest, and Emerson's definitely like the smartest when it comes to like all the games because she can just like figure out like what we did wrong, make come off of her mistakes. But yeah, it's always fun competing against each other.
I've gotten I got a chance to meet Emerson earlier this year, but that also gave me a chance to meet your parents. Uh, your dad in particular, Jay, he's helped you get some of these opportunities, hasn't he? And I wonder if you could just maybe give him a shout out and what it's meant to have a parent who's willing to, go to Orlando with you for a all-star football game or go to a track meet out of state.
Yeah, my dad's been such a big help. I own like everything because it's just giving us like the opportunity to like knowing like because we thought back then like Maine was like the only competition, like we couldn't go further. And then he would always reach out to find like better competition. I remember the first time he took us down to a regional track meet against like other kids in the region. And I didn't do too well, but my sister did well. And that just like showed us like put us in like the national footprint of everybody, and just like him always trying to find stuff to like get our name out there, pushing us to get better every single day when we don't even think we have it, but he sees something in all of us. So I love him from that, just always pushing us, always taking willing to take us like across the country. Just it's amazing what he does.
Okay, I got one more that's not really sports related. I learned this just minutes ago. I looked at your brother's bio on the George Mason University site. It said he was the ceramic artist of the year or some such award. What's your hidden talent that we don't know about?
I'm really good at Madden. Like on the Xbox, I'm really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to see? I have it down here.
Yeah,
Oh.
go for it.
Yeah.
Oh. He made this head. This is what.
That's great.
It's Odell Beckham.
Fantastic.
I
He
would
always
love to
talks
have
about
some
him.
of that hair. That would be outstanding.
Yeah.
If I could actually.
Great.
That's hilarious. That's great.
That's great stuff. And that's a great way to end this. Jayden Flaker, you have a big college decision coming up. Good luck with it, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for having
Thanks
me.
a lot, Jayden.
Good night.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Bye.
Jayden Flaker from Scarborough High School. We will now move on to athletes of
I
the
don't
week.
think we
I don't
can
know if we
top
can
the
top
Odell
that.
Beckham ceramic head.
That's Dave, if you've got a ceramic head, go get it now while I read these.
The only thing I could really do is cut a promo on the ceramic head. That's about the best I could give you right now. Challenge it to a wrestling match.
All right. Well, we will start with a milestone in Thorndike last night. Hannah Coolin from Mount View girls basketball, the senior, scored 12 points in a win over Levitt to give her 1,000 in a career. She is just the second player to reach that milestone in Mount View history. The other is former UMaine standout Emily Ellis. Dave, that's some pretty good company to be in.
Yeah, and I actually talked with Mark Cooper last season, obviously during the pandemic, and there wasn't a tournament. He said that Cooling could have broken this record a year ago if had there been a normal season. So great to see her get to this. She's been Mount View's scoring leader for some time now. She has there's good depth there with that team with Cricket Thompson as well. But yeah, she broke the record against Levitt. Emily Ellis, obviously Mount View's greatest basketball product, was there in attendance at the game to congratulate her for breaking that record. That is excellent, rarefied air to be in, to be part of that group, or that duo, I should say. So congratulations to her for that.
Definitely. Casey Mills from Coney and Thomas Horton from Bonnie Eagle. These two football standouts were honored as the Frank J. Gaziano Lineman Award winners on Saturday. Mills was named the Defensive Lineman of the Year. Horton won the Offensive Award. And the next day, Horton said he's going to continue to play here in Maine. He'll be a Black Bear at the University of Maine. And in a little while, we'll find out if he's going to pull the double and also win the Fitzpatrick Trophy for the top senior player in the state. Logan Brown, Brunswick girls basketball, the senior guard, scored 20 points Friday in a 47-31 win over Mount Ararat, 18 Monday in a 42-40 win over Yarmouth, and 20 Tuesday in a 53-39 win over Falmouth. She hit 13 three-pointers over those games. Wyatt Knightley from Lake Region Freiburg Oxford Hills Hockey, he scored 3 goals and had an assist in the Ice Cats' 7-3 win over the Capital Region Hawks on Monday. Elle Nelson from Gorham girls basketball, she's a senior, and she scored 29 points, hitting 5 three-pointers in a 58-43 win over Thornton Academy last Friday, then scored 20 with 6 threes in a 47-39 win over Bonnie Eagle on Tuesday. Eric Richards, Mountain Valley boys basketball, he scored 32 points in a 61-54 victory over Oak Hill on Monday. Maeve Kelly from Cheverus girls basketball, she hit a three-pointer with 3 seconds to play to lift the Stags to a 42-41 win over Wyndham. We'll be talking about Cheverus a little bit later. Lily Romsley, Greeley girls hockey, she scored 5 goals, and Carrie Roberts also recorded a hat trick for the Rangers in an 8-3 win over Portland Deering. Grace Ramsdell from Wells girls basketball, she's a senior, and she scored 24 points in a 44-35 win over Yarmouth last Thursday, breaking a 25-25 tie with 10 consecutive points, and then she added 37 points in a 77-20 win over Freiburg. Noah Dupre from Lake Region boys basketball, he scored 41 points in Tuesday's 83-75 win at Cape Elizabeth. He is also Lake Region's captain. Remy Jo Awani from Deering boys basketball, the junior forward, scored 26 points and made 5 three-pointers to propel the Rams to a 64-59 win against AA North leading Edward Little on Tuesday. Steve, Deering's 3-8, but that win over number 1 at the time in the Varsity Maine poll, Edward Little, is going to be a big one for the Rams, isn't it?
Huge win. They'd been 1-8 since a season opening win against Bonnie Eagle, which Remy Jo had a great game in that night too in their win against Bonnie Eagle. But he's a quick full court player. He plays tough defense. As a team, they get after it. And I was looking at this thing at their results. They've had at least 3 games against AA North teams that were 5 points or less, that were losses. So they've been close, but they're going to need more games from Remy Joe like he had the other night to, pull out a few more wins before this season ends, because that's just such a tough league, like we seem to talk about every week. But
Definitely.
what a huge win. I mean, just another one of those results that when you see it in the paper, it's like, wow, didn't think that was going to happen.
It seems to be a lot of those this season.
Absolutely.
Emma Charles from Mount Blue Skiing. She won the annual Maranacook Wave Nordic Ski Race in 16 minutes, 36.2 seconds. Landon Johnson of Old Orchard Beach Basketball, the Seagulls junior forward and leading scorer in the Western Maine Conference. Johnson notched 32 points in a 63-54 win against Waynfleet. Lizzie Gruber from Gardner Girls Basketball, she had 14 points, 25, I'll say it again, 25 rebounds, 4 steals, 4 blocks, and a 42-28 win over Erskine. Levi Tibbetts from Lisbon Boys Basketball, he scored 18 points and grabbed 17 boards in the Greyhounds' 53-37 win over Halldale Monday. And on Friday, he put up 22 points in a 55-42 win over Winthrop. Brady Coyne from Falmouth Boys Basketball, the senior guard, scored 25 points in Monday's key road win at Marshwood. Came back with 22 points to support Jack Stoll's game-high 30 in Tuesday's win against Brunswick. And this week we had a few coaching milestones. Madison girls basketball coach Al Veneziano earned his 400th career win when the Bulldogs beat Monmouth. Gardner girls coach Mike Gray picked up his 200th win with that win over Erskine. And Deering boys basketball coach Todd Wynn got his 100th win as the Rams pulled off that upset over Edward Little. So congratulations to all. Moving on to the VarsityMaine.com polls. These are on VarsityMaine.com and voted on by sports writers from around the state and the Maine Today media family. Starting with boys ice hockey, Edward Little still number 1 with all 6 first-place votes, followed by Bangor. Number 3 now Messalonskee, number 4 Greeley, and number 5 South Portland, Freeport, Waynfleet. Dave, this Messalonskee team is just maybe not quietly anymore, but they're kind of just rolling through Class B North.
They really are, and the thing that stands out about Messalonskee, at least to me, is in talking with Dennis Martin earlier in the season, he was confident in 3 full lines for that Messalonskee squad. Now, for anybody that knows with Maine high school hockey, a lot of coaches are just hopeful, even in Class A, to have 2 good lines. To be confident in 3 lines in Class B is something else entirely, and they've been coming through all season long. They're just rolling through the competition, and nothing seems to be stopping them to this point. So Dennis seems to be spot on with his with his thoughts on his team.
All right. Girls hockey, number 1, still Lewiston, getting all 6 first-place votes. Number 2 is Cheverus, Old Orchard Beach, Wyndham, Kennebunk. Number 3 is Scarborough. Number 4, Cape Elizabeth, Waynfleet, and South Portland. And number 5, Mount Ararat, Lisbon, Morse, Lincoln. Lewiston still looks like the team to beat, but they pulled out a 2-1 win over that Cheverus, Old Orchard, Wyndham, Kennebunk team. And then that team's coming on with a big 2-1 win over Scarborough. They have a big game coming up with the Cape Elizabeth, Waynfleet, South Portland. So girls ice hockey is starting to kind of take shape. Girls basketball, we had a little change at the top, and this is probably the closest of the polls. Number 1 is Cheverus with 5 of the 8 first-place votes. Number 2 is Oxford Hills, who was number 1 last week. Number 3, Skowhegan now picking up 2 first-place votes. Number 4, Gorham with 1 first-place vote. And number 5, Brunswick. Go back to you, Dave. The Skowhegan team, while Cheverus and Oxford Hills kind of have been getting a lot of the attention, is kind of doing their thing in Class A North.
Skowhegan's been great, and I got to watch them last week against Lawrence. Lawrence has been dealing with some injuries, obviously, not at full strength like they were, but Skowhegan's been really rolling. And I think what kind of impressed me last week with them is they pick up a strong win over Lawrence, but they weren't happy with themselves after the game. They knew that they could do more, or that they could play better, despite running away with the win. They just have this inner drive, that just kind of like that you want winning teams to have, that just takes it next level. And they seem to be just gradually picking up the pace with each game. And again, they're rolling right now.
Okay. Finally, boys basketball, we have a new number one, and I think it's the first time this team has ever been number one. And I was a little surprised that it was unanimous. Nokomis with all 8 first place votes, followed by number 2, South Portland, who spent some time at the top, number 3, Brewer, number 4, Edward Little, and number 5, Falmouth. Uh, Steve, kind of the double A teams are beating up each other a little bit, and Nokomis just keeps rolling. They've won 11 straight, and the closest game in that run was a 16-point win over Skowhegan.
I know for me personally, I was kind of waiting for them to play this game against Brewer, and when they won so decisively, which was last Thursday night while we were doing the show, we were all checking to see the updates. That kind of cemented it for me. Granted, it was preseason, but they came down to South Portland in front of a big crowd and beat South Portland. And I think you can plant your flags. All 3 of them. Nokomis is the darling of boys basketball as of right now, and I think if all 8 of us agree, I guess there's something to it. It'd be great if this would be what I saw some stuff on Twitter. Wouldn't it be great to have some sort of an open-ended tournament at the end? Back in the day when we used to go to the Boston Garden for the New England Classics or whatever. It's just to see how good this team could be. But there's still a lot of the season left too. Brewer will get them again. They've already maybe right, and
they played twice in the regular season, so
yeah. But I mean,
again,
in
it's
the tournament, I'm
yeah.
thinking in the tournament, but I think whoever comes out of A North is going to be a prohibitive favorite, frankly, to win the state title.
Does Falmouth look like the team to beat in the A South right now?
That's what everybody keeps saying. I saw a really fun team to watch in Gray New Gloucester earlier this week. They lost to a real good Class B team at York by just 2 points. Gray, those kids play hard and they hustle and they move the ball really quickly, and there's a lot to like about them. But boy, they don't have much size. It would, so I'm not sure if they can match up with Falmouth, and if they were to beat Falmouth, I don't know how they could match up against, say, Nokomis.
Dave, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, no, just to add one more thing about Nokomis, their home games are an event. It's people, you come into the new gymnasium that they have there, and the stands are already full for the JV game. And so it just stays for the varsity game afterwards. Their student section is loud. They've got flags that they're flying around. It's a playoff atmosphere during a time of which, you're really only getting about half the crowd because schools have their own rules right now about having home fans in, but maybe not visiting fans in. They do it up right in Nokomis. That's a playoff atmosphere almost every game over there. And as a fan, it's just been fun to watch.
Great. Speaking of fun to watch, let's look at some games coming up. I mentioned that Cheverus, Old Orchard, Wyndham, Kennebunk girls hockey team. They've got a big game coming up tomorrow against Cape Elizabeth, Wayne Free, South Portland. Another boys hockey game coming up tomorrow, Bangor at Thornton, in what should be a good Class A matchup. Dave, you got any games on your docket that you're looking forward to?
Basically anything Nokomis is playing in. That's it. I mean, it's the number one entertainment thing up here in Central Maine right now. It really is. I hate to say it. They're
really, I haven't seen something like this. With you're talking about the stands being full before the JV game, going back to the Great Valley team days 20 years ago. You'd go up to that little gym in Bingham, and there'd be, people lined up at 5 o'clock trying to get in.
No, it's
been in that gym.
It's a great little gym.
Yeah.
Yep. And I got to see
Steve,
Nick Mulat at Home State after that. He's a tremendous career.
Steve, got anything you're looking forward to?
Well, it's probably already half over by now, but I'll be curious to see how this Gray New Gloucester team did tonight at home against Yarmouth, which is the other top team, I think, in B South. No disregard to Spruce Mountain, which is undefeated, but I think York and Yarmouth would be the top 2 teams in that league. And then tomorrow night, kind of an interesting game will be Thornton at Falmouth. Thornton was the team that knocked off South Portland, but they've also lost recently to Sanford, which was a bit of one of those surprise games. And then Falmouth is considered the best team in Class A South, but they haven't fared very well when they've had to go up against the AA teams thus far this year, getting beaten handily by South Portland and then beaten by Portland. I think it was last Friday night. So those will be interesting games. Maybe it'll be a gauge, or maybe it'll just add to the confusion even more.
Sure. Should be some good stuff coming up as the regular season nears its conclusion. Okay, before we go, I'd like to offer condolences and thoughts to the family and friends of Zachariah Abdullahi, Lewiston High graduate of 2016, was a member of the 2015 state championship soccer team that was uh, just set the tone for what Lewiston has done soccer-wise since. He was a great player. Unfortunately, he died in Saudi Arabia after a horrific accident. So thoughts to Zachariah's family, friends, and the Lewiston community. Um, this has been Varsity Maine Live. Thanks for joining us this week.